want to talk about people who speak straight with no chaser. There's people out there who, when they speak upon whatever it is that they're speaking upon, they are straight with no chaser. I am actually one of those individuals. I am straight with no chaser. Some people can handle that, some people cannot. It's not for everybody, and when I say straight with no chaser, that's not to say that you're trying to be mean to anyone. That's not to say, you're trying to degrade anyone. But that is to say that you have no problem speaking the truth. Matter of fact, that's just to say that that's exactly what you're going to do. You are going to speak the truth, no matter the way it comes out. And don't get me wrong, because I do believe in a sense of compassion. I do believe that we should show each other some sense of compassion, especially if you're like speaking to someone sensitive or an empath who's super emotional. Have a little compassion when you are expressing something to an empath. Have a little compassion when you're expressing something to someone that's very sensitive, because if you don't, they won't get the message, because they'll be distracted with the way you're making them feel. And I know that because I'm an empath. But sometimes people get wrapped up in the presentation of the message. Like, let's say you cuss a lot. Sometimes people will say, well, stop cussing. Well, what if that's that person's way of communicating? What if that's just what it is? That's just who they are. Then what? Sometimes I feel like people confuse things a bit to where they should be able to dictate how a person communicates. They should be able to dictate the way a person feels comfortable putting out the message that they're trying to put out. And I just do not believe in that. If someone is communicating something and you don't resonate with their presentation, we all have free will. All you have to do is move along and find someone who communicates that's more up your alley. Find someone who can communicate to where you feel like, okay, I can resonate with this. I really don't understand when individuals really don't take too kindly to the way someone is communicating, and instead of moving along and finding someone who they do resonate with, they would like to change the way that person communicates. They want to tell that person, don't speak like that. Why? Because it's not pleasing for them. Well, sometimes when the people are talking, the message is more than just for that one person. The message could be for masses, and maybe there are individuals out there who it doesn't bother them at all. The cussing doesn't bother them at all. I'm one of those people. I'm not holier than thou at all. And just because someone is cussing does not mean I miss the message. I know how to eat the meat and spit out the bones. Wait a minute, even though I do not eat meat, let's get that clear. But I know how to eat the meat and spit out the bone. I know exactly how to get the message and leave the presentation where it's at. I know how to do that. And it would be fantastic if people would allot everyone to communicate however they see fit, whatever's comfortable for them, because it's their message. So you really can't dictate to someone how they put out their message. The only thing you have control over is if the message doesn't resonate with you, you have control over if you want to listen to that message or if you want to move along to someone who you resonate with more, I am straight with no chaser. Again, some people can handle that. Some people cannot handle that. And again, I do try to be as compassionate as I can when I'm speaking about whatever it is that I'm speaking about, because I know there are certain people in the world who's sensitive, and I want to be respectful to the fact that they're sensitive to the presentation, because I know I am. I know someone can have the best intentions in the world for me, but if I feel like they're hollering at me, I will totally miss their message, because I will be stuck in my feelings on they're making me feel judged. I will be stuck in that place where I'm losing the message because I feel judged. And that's the last thing that I want to do, is make anyone feel judged, because again, when I speak about things, I speak about things that resonate with my life, things that I live, things that I have lived, things that I experience. So there's no way in the world I could judge anybody if these things I've lived, these things I can identify with in real time. So for those of you out there who are straight with no chaser. Let me address you first. I'm sorry for those of you out there who cannot resonate with that, because I have to say kudos to those individuals who, no matter what, they are going to be their authentic self no matter what. It does not faze them if someone cannot relate to what they're saying because they're not using the right vernacular, or because they're using profanity and somebody doesn't appreciate the fact that they're using profanity. That doesn't bother them in the least. They continue on with their message. They keep putting that message out. And I think that's fantastic. Why? Because that means they're being their authentic self. They're not trying to put on for anyone. They're being who they are unapologetically. There's nothing more that I respect than someone who is unapologetically themselves. They are who they are. Take me as I am. I'm fine with who I am. If I'm not your cup of tea, then that's okay too. Maybe you'll find someone who you resonate with. But as far as me changing for anyone, I'm not comfortable with that, and that's not something that I'm willing to do. I'm only willing to be unapologetically myself. Shout out to you guys. Shout out to you guys who stand in your power. You stand in who you are. You do not let anything make you waver. You do not let anyone tell you how you can be, what you can be, how you can speak, what you can say. You just don't allow it. You just do not allow it. You put your foot down and you stand 10 toes down. You are who you are. I love that. It is so windy out here, but I love it. The wind is actually really nice. It may not sound like it, but the wind is actually really nice. But shout out to you guys for that. Because sometimes people can turn themselves into people pleasers. They can deliver whatever it is that they want to say according to what makes people comfortable. If people want you to not cuss, then you won't cuss. If people want you to speak softly, then you speak softly. If people want you to get riled up, then you get riled up. That must be exhausting. That must be exhausting to live your life being a version of yourself, an unauthentic version of yourself at that. That must be exhausting. It's so much easier to just be who you are because it comes natural. When you have to be something that you're not, it just doesn't feel natural. It's exhausting. I've done that before. So again, I'm not judging anyone because I used to do that. Unfortunately, I used to people please. Not anymore. So shout out to me. Shout out to me for understanding I am just fine being my authentic self. There is nothing wrong with that. Some people will gravitate to that. Some people will not. You cannot please everyone and you shouldn't try. So I'm okay with that. I'm okay with whomever I resonate with or whoever resonates with me. I'm okay with that. Whoever does not resonate with me, I'm okay with that. And when you're standing in your authentic true self, you're okay with that. People tend to get a little rowdy when people try to dictate who they should be and how they should speak and what they should do and what they should say. I'm walking right now, so if I'm out of breath, dang. That's unfortunate, but it is what it is. I'm going up this little hill, but I just wanted to say that. And for you guys out there who, unfortunately, you try to dictate or somewhat control how a person speaks or what it is they say or anything about someone, actually, because no one has the right to dictate anything if it's outside of yourself. The only thing you can dictate is yourself. The only thing that you have control over is yourself. You have no control over someone else. You have no control. And I think your life would be so much better if you would stop trying to control someone else's life. It's just not possible. It's not possible to control someone else's life. Now, you may have convinced yourself that if I manipulate someone enough, I can somehow have control over their life. Especially because maybe there are times where you said something that had an impact on someone, and so it may have looked like you control that person. But maybe that person just resonated with what you said and chose to do that thing. That doesn't necessarily mean you control that person. That just means that the person chose to agree with what it is that you said. So I just want to say to all of you authentic individuals out there. You're so beautiful that you are unapologetically yourself. I absolutely love you for that. I love you for that. If no one else told you that today, please listen to my words. I love the fact that you are unapologetically yourself. Talk your talk the way you need to talk your talk. Be yourself. Keep being yourself. Keep doing whatever it is that you want to do. It's your life. Only you have the right to dictate what you do in your life. Keep doing that. You're shining out there. I see you. I feel you. And you inspire me. You inspire me to keep going. You inspire me to keep being unapologetically myself and being happy with that. I love you guys. We're connected, definitely, especially when it comes down to being unapologetically ourselves, because we're not crazy if we are just fine with who we are. We're not crazy for that. We're not crazy because we choose not to people please. We're not crazy for that either. We are not crazy if we are okay with the fact that not everyone will resonate with us. We're okay with that. We're not upset about that at all. That doesn't make us crazy because we don't mind. Because then all we do is focus on the individuals who do resonate with us, and we're okay with that. We're not crazy because of that. And you cannot get angry with us because we are unapologetically ourselves. You cannot get angry with us because we love ourselves. We know who we are. We stand strong with who we are. And whatever it is that we want to communicate, we have the courage to communicate that thing however we see fit. Some people decide to have some compassion whenever they're delivering their message. Sometimes people can even take things the wrong way and feel if someone is cussing, they don't have compassion. I don't agree with that. People, sometimes when they are cussing, it's because of the passion. It's because of many different reasons, and I don't know all the reasons, but it's because of different reasons. But their reason for using profanity, that's no one's place to try to dictate that. That's no one's place, If some people want to do this or do that, and, let's take YouTube, for instance. People bounce around to different channels, and there's so many channels on YouTube. So it's mind-boggling when people voluntarily go to someone's channel. They do not resonate with the message. They do not resonate with the presentation of the message. So instead of finding another channel out of the thousands of channels, they would choose to stay at the channel they don't resonate with and try to dictate it. It's the craziest thing ever. I promise you, it's the craziest thing ever. And I know I shouldn't be laughing at it, but it's comical to me because I just don't get the logic behind that. Like, why would you do that? Why in the world would you want to stay somewhere? That's like going to someone's house and they want you to take off your shoes and you don't want to take off your shoes. That's like being upset that you have to take your shoes off in someone's house and you sit there arguing with them saying, no, you need to change that rule. And not even that. You keep coming back every day to argue with them on changing their rule for their house. That's the weirdest thing ever. You have to let people live. You have to understand the only thing you can control is yourself. There's nothing outside of you that you can control. The sooner everyone understands that, it'll just be to each his own. It won't be, okay, let me try to dictate. And even if you try to say it nicely, well, maybe you shouldn't cuss because whatever. No, I understand you have an opinion, but your opinion is not always warranted, especially if you come into a space where this is this person's space and they have a right to do what it is they want to do unapologetically within that space. If you don't agree with their rules for their space, happily move along. Wish them well and move along. You don't have to stay there. You're staying there by choice. So if you don't resonate with something, why would you choose to stay? Instead of just go somewhere where you'll be happy, where you won't even have to give your opinion because you resonate with the message and the presentation so much that you don't even have to give any advice on what they should or shouldn't do. That makes more sense to me, but that could just be me. And this is just a suggestion. But again, for those of you out there who take it upon yourself to be your true, authentic self, no chaser, you are who you are, you love who you are, you know that you don't mean any harm. shout out to you. Shout out to you for being unapologetically yourself. There are a lot of people in this world, unfortunately, who are not comfortable being themselves. They are uncomfortable being their authentic self. Some people change up who they are according to who they're around. And that has to be exhausting. That has to be exhausting. Wouldn't you think that it would be so much easier to just be yourself no matter who you're around? It's like a one-way street instead of getting on a highway. It's a one-way street. Just be who you are and run down that street. No matter who's down that street, it's only one you, and this is who you are, and this is what it is. Instead of getting on the highway and now you have to keep changing up who you are according to, here's this exit, here's that exit. No, just go down your one-way street. Be who you are. It's beautiful. It's fantastic. Try it. Instead of judging other people for being their authentic self, put more effort into you being your own authentic self. And try it. You will see how happy it makes you. You will see how happy it makes you, and then maybe you'll reconsider the next time you feel the need to tell someone who they should be or who they should not be. Let's focus on ourselves, guys. So again, that doesn't make you crazy if you choose to be authentic to yourself, to others. You choose not to people please. You are unapologetically yourself, and you are just fine with that. Please keep being that person. Keep doing that thing. It is amazing. You inspire someone like me. I'm out here being unapologetically myself as well, and so I feel like I'm in good company with those of you who are like that. I feel like we're like-minded. Those of you who are like that, it is so refreshing to see that this is who you are and you're not afraid to be who you are. And I love you so much for that. And I love you so much for inspiring me, because at one time I was a people pleaser. So thank you for that. And just because we are who we are, that doesn't make us crazy, because you already know I'm not crazy, and neither are you.